Clark.
Good, thank you.
I would like to extend a thumbs up to Wayne Marty. Wayne sent us an email this morning that he said he was going to be moving to Des Moines after the passing of his wife, which is going to be, he's going to be missed on a lot of different levels because he volunteered for so many different things. But what he was emailing us this morning about was that since 2017, he's been ringing the bell at Westmar Memorial Park as outlined on a schedule that he gave us, certain particular dates. It looked like there was probably 12 to 15 different dates that he would ring the memorial bell at 8:30 a.m. And I live on the other end of town now, and can't say that I recognize that he did that, but wanted to give him a thumbs up for that. So, Steve, any?
I have a couple today. One thumbs up is for Bob's Drive-In. Bob's was voted by a publication called MASH for the best hot dog in Iowa. They rated all the hot dogs in the United States, and Bob's was voted as the best in Iowa. I have no idea what MASH is. I've never come across it, but my sister sent it to me, and I thought that was kind of neat. And my other one is for Dave Irwin, who unfortunately lost their last game last night and is retiring from his basketball position with the community. Dave's a good friend. He's done a lot of nice things with the basketball program, and he's going to be missed. So,
As is Mike Langle, too.
Mike Lango as well.
Yeah, both head coaches of the boys programs on both schools. Mark?
I would join your comments on Wayne Marty. I've known him in a couple of different groups, and he's just such a great guy. And then what I previously said about the wet nose, thumbs up to those folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, moving on to consent items. In the consent items, we have an approval of the February 7, 2023 regular meeting minutes, a list of bills for 2/17/23, monthly financial statement for January 23, renewal of liquor license to Kim's, Kimes? Kim's Country Store, and a new 5-day liquor license to Bachers for the fairgrounds. 24th Street Southwest Bridge Repair Project, we're changing the bid date. Urban Revitalization Tax Exemption Request, and a community Easter egg hunt.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 7.
Second.
Yeah, I got a question on one, just a real quick question. Number 4, renewal of liquor license to the country store, and then 5-day liquor license transfer. Whenever there's a transfer and or application for a new liquor license, these businesses are in good standing with the city, is that correct?
They have active liquor licenses if they apply for it.
Okay, so, good enough. Thank you.
I guess I have a question then. If they're transferring, let's say for a 2-day event, are they running it 2 locations, or do they have to not use it in their original location? I don't know how that works.
They can only use it.
You can only use it in one location.
Okay.
That's why they apply for a new one, so they can do both.
Oh, I got you.
Then I have a question on 5.
Yeah, I thought that was.
The reason for change of bid date was?
It wasn't advertised.
So we got no bids.
No. But yeah, we got no bids because it wasn't advertised.
That's the reason.
So, is that ours to advertise?
No.
That was confusion. It was supposed to be them.
Okay.
They didn't realize they were supposed to.
All right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table for the consent items 1 through 7. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the action items. Funding recommendations by CDB Advisory Board. So at its February 7, 2023 meeting, the council acknowledged receipt of the Convention and Visitor Bureau Advisory Board's recommendation for fiscal year 24 project funding. Final action was delayed to this meeting to allow citizen input. The letter and list are attached. Administration recommends the council fund the CBB recommendation for fiscal year '24.
Were there any comments from the public since our last meeting?
Not to me, no.
Motion to approve the Convention and Visitor Bureau Advisory Board's recommendations for fiscal year '24 project funding in the amount of $37,048.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the fiscal year '24 maximum property tax dollars. As part of the budget process, cities must establish the maximum property tax dollars they will be requesting and hold a hearing to allow for public input. Once the hearing is complete, the council must pass a resolution adopting the maximum property tax dollars to be received. Based on the taxable valuations provided to the city in December 2022, it has been determined that to keep the levy rate at $11.90 for a fifth year in a row, the city will need to request $6,249,472 in property taxes. This does not include ag land. This is a 2.62% reduction from the $6,418,126 that was requested in fiscal year 2022-2023. The $168,654 reduction in property taxes is due to a $14,172,597 reduction in taxable valuations within the city from fiscal year 2022 to 2023 to fiscal year 2023 to 2024. Much of the reduction in taxable valuations is due to changes made by the state legislature and is not due to actual valuations decreasing. In fact, total valuations within the city increased by $17,032,783 or 1.72% from 2022 to 2023 to 2023 to 2024. On February 15, 2023, the state legislature took additional action on fiscal year 23 to 24 taxable valuations. Under this new legislation, residential taxable valuations will be reduced even further. While the actual effect of this legislation will not be known for a few weeks, it is estimated that it will reduce the city's total property taxes received for 23-24 by an additional $150,000. The state has advised that cities may hold their maximum property tax hearings prior to knowing the full effect of this legislation, as it will only serve to reduce the total taxes requested. Administration recommends council establish the public hearing.
Good work.
Take a drink.
Could you repeat?
What now? What was it?
Motion to establish March 7th, 2023 at 12 p.m. for a public hearing on resolution on maximum property tax dollars fiscal year 2023-2024.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the Wells Enterprise request to build in the right-of-way. So Wells Enterprises is currently conducting a renovation project of the North Ice Cream Plant, which will require building a private infrastructure in the city right-of-way of First Street Southeast. The private infrastructure includes a 22 by 14 foot building and 2 silos. The request by Wells Enterprises to do so would require council approval. The proposed infrastructure, when constructed, would be over existing city storm sewer and sanitary. Attached is a drawing of the proposal. Administration recommends council approve the construction of the private infrastructure in First Street Southeast right-of-way. In this instance, council has approved similar requests in the past. Wells was granted permission to build infrastructure in 2nd Street Southeast right-of-way in the southeast corner of the North Ice Cream Plant, and CSS was granted permission to build an accessory building over a sanitary sewer along Highway Business 75. In 2011, council approved vacating First Street Southeast right-of-way to allow for the North Ice Cream Plant expansion, but the expansion never happened and therefore the vacation was never finalized. Administration recommends council reopen the topic of vacating and rerouting of existing city utilities.
Do they want to construct permanently on top of this?
Yeah, so what I've learned since writing this is that the storm sewer is not ours, it's theirs.
Okay.
But it is our sanitary.
Okay. Can I make a proposal that I made less than 6 months ago, and that is, why don't we tell them if they pay for us to relocate our sanitary, we'll vacate the street forever, they can have it.
Yeah.
They can have that street, close, it's Wells's. They pay to have our, because they're constantly doing something, I mean, not constantly, but it's not odd for them to use this for cranes and different construction projects that take up time. It's, I don't monitor it, but I can't see that street being heavily used.
Especially since there's that real quick little jog just to the north.
Exactly. So what I would suggest here is, fine, let's let them do it, but let's have them pay for our relocation of our sanitary sewer, and then we give it to them. That would be, thoughts on that from code, from chiefs?
Good. I don't see an issue.
I mean, I can't propose that, you know, but I can at least bring it forward and say, let's do this one and then get it over with.
Discussing it with Wayne Schlofeld last Thursday, he's already has an idea for the rerouting of it, and if Wells is gonna build this stuff, they prefer that those utilities not be under there anyway.
Right.
Or either, so they would be in favor of moving it.
I do know the old CSS building is mentioned here, and I know that that was going to be a problem, had we proceeded with the new police station there. So that had to be dealt with anyway, so I agree, you don't want them underneath structures. You just-
Especially not under silo club.
Right, there you go. Which is a heavy pad, Greg?
You know, last spring, I wanna say maybe it was even a year ago, or more than that before, Jason will recall that we did open this discussion with Wayne about vacating that street, again, because of something that they had going on, and it just never materialized after that. I know when Wayne and I were talking, especially the people that have lived here for a lot of years, you'll remember when there were so many homes and stuff in that area that Wells now owns. There are so many different lots, so to speak, individual lots that were just turned over. And I think to clean up everything, they want to consolidate, basically kind of like doing a new, I don't want to call it a subdivision, but get rid of all of those individual lots and make that whole area one or two lots, so to speak. Because when they bought the homes and bulldozed them, the lot description stayed the same. So all the lot descriptions, legal descriptions for all those individual lots are still there. They've never changed. And Wayne and I had talked about it. There's different easements that have been granted over the years that just need to all be combined into one.
So I don't know how that can be handled.
That would be on their end.
And not hold up their
Yeah.
Scott, yes.
It's just gonna be more time consuming to get the paperwork done. Once they can get all that stuff, legal stuff done, you might say, I would agree with Clark. Have them move it or move our utilities and give them the ground, so.
So just to go back, I don't know if you remember, you go back, I think in 2015, when Wells donated the 13 acres for our new building out there, we gave them that street because of an addition that they wanted to put on. I think after the testing of the ground and stuff, it wasn't gonna work, so they gave us that street back. pretty sure how that works. But just so you know, that street, if you guys either gotta make a decision, because if not, if you drive down it, your street needs replaced. So you're gonna end up sticking probably up to 150 to 200,000 to replace that street that's broke up bad. So that's just a thought.
I don't think it would hurt anybody if we didn't have that street.
I agree.
You could put,
All right,
How do we promote?
say it again, chief?
Most of the year it's closed anyway. They have so many projects going on and
I think
Yeah.
you just
Right now.
proceed with the motion that's on your agenda, and you advise staff to do what the recommendation is, and that is reopen the topic of vacating and rerouting. I think just to keep the projects moving, I think that's the only way to go.
Motion approving Wells Blue Bunny Enterprises request to build private infrastructure within First Street Southeast right of way. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And I really like Mr. Murphy's idea, so, you know, you guys can pursue it and, you know, kind of know the sentiment is, just get it done. Get it done. That's all. Thank you.
Urban renewal amendment. Urban renewal plan amendments are needed when staff or when new projects are added or existing projects significantly change in cost or scope. City staff has been working with Dorsey and Whitney to prepare the required documents. A plan amendment is attached. Administration recommends that the council set the date for public hearing. Consultation session with Lamar's Community School and Plymouth County is required. March 6, 2023, 1 p.m. consultation session. March 21st, 2023, 12 p.m. public hearing.
all right, so, included is the updated. I can go through that if you want. Just cleaned up, 2 new projects added, so some actual projects removed. So. You can read it or I can give basic overview of what's changed. Dollar amounts have changed. If the project stayed in from the last time we did this in 2020, I believe. Projects remained, dollar amounts changed. That's noted in here. The last 2 projects are towards the end. The pages aren't numbered, but the Southview Industrial Park addition, that's added, and then the Industrial Park Development Project, that's added. So just gives us the opportunity to use TIF dollars to pay for some of that work. And if approved, I'll send out the letters to the school and to the county supervisors today. Yeah, so.
Just curiosity, that's fine, but why are they needed?
Because it's required.
But it's in our city limits, right?
Yeah, but our urban renewal area, Clark, does encompass county, but you have to have this because those are the other 2 taxing entities.
Right. Well, I knew the school would be, but just that it's inside, I don't care, I'm just
Yeah.
merely asking a question.
So this urban renewal area was joined with the county when it began, and then the city bought out.
We bought 'em out.
Yeah, but it still includes that county area, even though we bought them out.
Yeah, so there's still quite a bit of Plymouth County ground.
Okay, okay, I was just curious, because I knew we got them out of it, and now we want, okay. And then Jacob, are you good with this? What is the sunset on the TIF right now?
I believe 26 is the last year to certify, and then you receive 27, 28.
So how does that work? Then everything in the TIF just goes through the dates that it's projected out to? Or how does that, I mean, if it sunsets in 27, which is what I thought, what did you say, 26? You can add to it until then?
You can add to it until then, you can add projects to it. You could also, you could pull a portion out of it. Let's say we had a new project within it, and then add it back in and kind of restart the life on it. Jason and I have talked before, so you and me, several times on what exactly we want to do, because state TIF law hasn't changed, but some of the mentality's changed on it. Right now, we have a huge TIF area, maybe just doing more project-specific TIF areas once this one sunsets.
Setting up new, smaller tip areas and different locations is kind of what you're getting to.
Yeah, so as
We can't use TIF for our own public, I mean, we couldn't go build a new jail using TIF, could we?
we could.
I thought you
We
can't
used
use
it
for
on
government
it
projects.
takes a little more, write-up in one of these things.
Okay.
But, PD, we did.
Okay, all right, I was just curious.
I mean, so as,
It confuses me.
yeah, so
I'm
we're
the
getting
first
close to
admit.
we're getting close to the sunset, so the discussion was, are we gonna be able to, is that area gonna generate enough taxes to cover these
To
costs?
justify these.
I mean, so as we keep getting closer to 26, we need to keep having those discussions, because as projects get bigger, you know, there might not be enough TIF there to cover it, so do we include it, or do we make it its own separate?
Well, I knew that deadline was coming up, I mean, that I knew, and I wasn't sure how that all worked, so, okay. Thanks for the explanation, I rely heavily on it, so.
Make a motion to adopt resolution number 2311 to establish March 21st, 2023 at 12 p.m. for public hearing on an urban renewal plan amendment for the Lamar's Highway 75 bypass urban renewal area.
Second one through 12. I was gonna say 12. Yeah, it's 12.
12, I'm sorry.
I'll second with that.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Bruns,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Sturgeon,
Yes?
Wick,
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to the airport engineering services item. An RFQ was sent out to engineering firms for airport engineering services. 2 proposals were returned by the deadline of 4 p.m. January 2023. The process is necessary and required to continue to receive